it straight up the middle, and he's in. Down the right side, Lamb's open. Dancing in. Touchdown. Ripple, you big tank. And the ball is intercepted by Diggs. Of course it's Diggs.
The Cowboys OT is brought to you by Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys. And by blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today.
One of the big storylines throughout training camp, throughout the offseason, was the addition of Mike Zimmer at defensive coordinator. It was the run game. It was the turnover battle. There were a number of different things, and a lot of those things worked out in favor of the Dallas Cowboys. 33-17 over the Cleveland Browns in week 1 of the NFL season as we welcome you in to Cowboys OT. We've got Barry Church, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. We've got a trio of former Cowboys breaking down what just happened in the season opener for the Cowboys. First time they've defeated a team that's not the New York Giants in a season opener since 2009. It's been a long time since they've done that. However, the Cowboys do take care of business, and they look good in all three facets, maybe better in defense and special teams than they did on the offensive side. But what did you see from week 1?
From week 1, I just got to go straight to that defensive side of the football. I mean, I was very, very pleased on what I saw from Mike Zimmer and what he was able to do with this defense out there. I mean, those guys were playing like their hair was on fire. You saw the young man Overshown, sideline to sideline, showing that speed. He was popping off of the tape. The pressure that they were able to apply on Watson was second to none. I mean, you had Parsons out there. You had D-Law running the clock back like it was 2018 out there. That guy was playing with his hair on fire. The secondary was communicating well. And to me, what I loved most was they held this team to under 100 yards rushing. That was the big kind of bugaboo with this defense last season, was how are they going to do with the rush? How are they going to defend the rush? They were able to hold this team to under 100 yards, and we know this is a physical Cleveland Brown team, so hats goes off to that Zimmer defense tonight.
That's 19 for 93 to be exact. I mean, Zimmer did his job. Diggs showed up pretty big there. Just, coming back off that injury. He didn't have a lot of balls thrown at him, but when they did throw at him, he either batted it down and he got interception. So he did a nice job. Just to see these guys start the season like that, open and win, and it basically was the defense and special teams that carried it. That was nice.
Yeah, I loved everything about what the defense provided today. But the main thing is the defense took the ball away, and the offense didn't give the ball away. And that's really what it came down to. That's complementary football. And anytime you can get another additional third of the game in terms of complementary ball from your special teams unit, that's always going to put you in a position to win ball games. They put a lot of pressure on Deshaun Watson. He was never able to get comfortable. He was never able to find his targets. And the defense just made it very difficult for these guys to get anything established. We know that the running game was the biggest portion of their game. Once you eliminated that, now you can go hunt.
Well, that's the thing. The Cowboys have now improved to 12-0 since the beginning of last season whenever they've won the turnover battle. And if you can force a couple extra turnovers against a team like Dallas or a team like Cleveland that's going to give up those turnovers. They led the league last year in turnovers. It just gives you extra possessions and extra opportunities on the offensive side of the football. That's what they needed today. And of course, special teams looked great too. You had Brandon Aubrey kicking field goals. You had Kevontae Turpin with his first punt return touchdown. Isaiah, I defer to you as the special teams expert on the panel here, but it was really not hard to see how impactful they were today.
No, it's huge. Obviously we talked about it in the first word, but here in OT, you think about the new kickoff rules. And the new kickoff rules were you kick the ball out the end zone and the ball comes out to the 30-yard line. Well, all of a sudden it comes to the 30-yard line. If you go 20 yards now, 2 first downs. The Dallas Cowboys get 2 first downs from the ball being kicked out the back of the end zone. Now all of a sudden you're in Brandon Aubrey territory once you cross the 50. And that is a tremendous weapon to have. So if you don't want to do that, then kick it to Kevontae Turpin.
Yeah.
But if you kick it to Kevontae Turpin, you're just running the risk of somebody ending up with 6 points. So pick your poison. This is great complimentary ball. It's a good problem for the Dallas Cowboys to have. It's a terrible one for opponents to have.
What did you think, Barry, about what you saw from the special teams unit?
Oh, it's a weapon. I mean, once you get past the 50-yard line and you have a guaranteed 3 points on the board, I mean, that's a weapon that most teams don't have. I mean, when you go towards the 2-minute drill, you talk about 2 minutes. If you start on your half of the field and just knowing, hey, I got to get 30 or 20 yards here and there to pass the 50, and we got an automatic 3 going into the half or closing out the game. I mean, that's all you need for your team to go out there and be successful. And I think he is an amazing weapon that they have back there kicking these field goals.
When you have a team that this early in the season, first game, you usually see a lot of stumbling, a lot of sloppy football in the first half. But our defense, as well as our special teams, they were one accord. And like you said, with Turpin there, how you going to, and I know our special teams coach going to have some tricks.
Yeah.
Down the road, he's going to have some tricks in the bag. So this right here, to have an early success like this, just breeds confidence all over the place.
And that was really the most jarring part of the Cowboys' performance, is that they got off to such a quick start. And that's always really been the recipe for the Cowboys, is when you get teams in a hole, they can rush the quarterback. They can let their pass rushers like Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence eat, and then these other units can feed off of that energy and have some success as well. They had plenty of success today. We'll talk to them after this. When we come back here on Cowboys OT, we're going to take you inside the Cowboys locker room for more reaction from the Week 1 win.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Cowboys OT. The Cowboys take down the Cleveland Browns 33-17. We're now joined by DeMarvion Overshown, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. DeMarvion, first off, congrats on making your NFL regular season debut. It was great seeing you back out on the field today. How did it feel to finally get back from injury rehab and have a chance to play meaningful football again? So we can't hear DeMarvion Overshown. It's week 1 for everybody. So that's one of the unfortunate parts about this. But we are going to try and get him back for you. Let's hear from Mike McCarthy as he steps up to the podium following the 33-17 win.
On the 70, 71 or 72. So.
Did you think the play clock should have been restarted in that?
Well, yeah, just with the transition of it. Obviously, we were set. They were played substituting, and I think, there's a human nature component to it. Where, you hold up for the snap to make sure it's. But at the end of the day, we're responsible for the clock, and it's unfortunate because what an excellent kick by Brandon.
It looked like it was good, 71-72.
I don't know. I know it went through the uprights, but so you're saying that I should have went for it? Okay, good. Hey, give it to me, man. I need some. Yeah, don't give me a day off of criticism, please. I'll be disappointed in you. So, we good? All right. Thank you.
So, guys, I mean, there's Mike McCarthy. How about that? 33-17. We got the tail end of that press conference. We'll hear more of that a little bit later on here in Cowboys OT. But it does give way for us to try this again with DeMarvion Overshown, linebacker from the Cowboys. Demo, sounds like he can't hear me either. So we're going to take a break here on Cowboys OT. We're going to try and figure some things out technically. The Cowboys had everything figured out in week 1. We'll talk more about it right after this with more Cowboys OT, a 33-17 win for Dallas.
Go Cowboys! Go Cowboys!
33-17, the Dallas Cowboys take down the Cleveland Browns in week 1. We're going to try this once again. Let's go back out to Huntington Bank Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, where we are now joined by Cowboys linebacker DeMarvion Overshown. Debo, can you hear me?
I got you. I can hear you
and
loud
you
and clear.
You just sound fantastic. I'll ask you that first question again. You got a chance to make your NFL debut. You made an impact in doing so. How did it feel to get back out there?
No, it definitely felt great to get back out there. You know, when you have a year of just straight rehab, no playing football, you know, it's days where, man, I just want to run fast again. And seeing those guys flying around and standing on the sideline, like wishing I was a part of that, and finally got to do that today. And it felt good, you know. I definitely got comfortable after a couple plays, and then we were just playing football again.
One of the big things that we saw was the sack in the second half, but you did a lot more than just have that one sack. You had 9 tackles combined. You were flying sideline to sideline. What did you see in Cleveland's offensive game plan that allowed you to be successful going into week 1?
I mean, really just everything that we prepared for throughout the week. We kind of expected them to come in and try to pound the ball on us, try to get the game going. And we knew Deshaun Watson was one of those that if he don't see something he like, he going to take off running. So I definitely knew that was going to be a part of their game plan, and we was set up perfect for it every time. And our defense definitely, you know, we started something that we plan on building off of the rest of the year.
Tell me about that play, because like you said, as soon as you see Deshaun Watson outside of the tackle box, is that just a green light for you to turn up the jets, turn on the speed, and get to the quarterback at that point?
Oh, yeah, especially when you don't see nobody over there, and it's just like, all right, the play is over. We done clamped him. Now he's trying to make some plays with his feet, and that's my job to make sure that don't happen. So as soon as he broke the pocket, I knew that he was mine, and I seen him tuck the ball, and he thought he was finna throw it, but it was too late then. I was already on him.
And that's really been the conversation piece, was the speed and the explosion, which a lot of times doesn't happen when you come back from an injury of your magnitude. I mean, tell us, how intense was the rehab process to get back to this point, and also how sweet of a reward is it to have a game like you did today?
You know, the rehab was definitely intense. You know, when you got an ACL injury, it's a process. And being the competitor that I am, you know, you get in your head and where you think you can do more than what you're supposed to be doing. I'm trying not to walk without my crutches too early. I'm walking up the steps of my house just to feel something. But basically just staying mentally locked in and knowing that this time was coming around this year. And just trusted the whole training staff, trusted the guys that I went to work with every day, the other guys that tore their ACLs, and I knew once this moment came that I was able to showcase what I was able to do last year, that you know, it was going to be a good one.
Well, it was a great reward to see you back out on the field and having the success that you did, but here's the thing. You've set the bar now. You've set the bar to a certain standard. How are you going to exceed that starting with week 2 next week against the New Orleans Saints?
Oh, man, that's definitely the standard. You know, I put something on tape, and, of course, we're going to go and clean up some stuff tomorrow. But, you know, that's the standard. I don't expect anything less from myself throughout the whole season.
No doubt about it. Demo, it was great seeing you out there. Thank you for being patient with some of the technical difficulties. We'll look forward to seeing you back on the field next week and maybe talking with you again after a win down the line.
Yes, sir. I'll see y'all then.
Sounds good. DeMarvion Overshown, linebacker for the Cowboys. 9 tackles. He had a sack and was fantastic in his NFL regular season debut. When we come back on Cowboys OT, we see a return, maybe not a debut, but a return for Ezekiel Elliott. How did he feel in his first game back with the Dallas Cowboys, sporting a new number, still finding the end zone right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Cowboys OT. The Cowboys saw the return of Ezekiel Elliott back in a Dallas uniform. He did finish out in the end zone, had a touchdown early on, finished with 10 carries for 40 yards. Of course, 4 yards per pop for those math wizards out there. Let's hear from Ezekiel Elliott and hear what he had to say following the win.
Performance in your first one back, how'd that one feel?
Man, it felt really good. It felt good to be back out there with this star on my helmet. Great team win. Wish the offense could have finished stronger at the end, but it's always great to get that first away win, and let's keep building on that.
Your thoughts on Dak
Man, I'm just super excited for the guy. I mean, you see the work he puts in and day out. Man, I couldn't think of a more deserving person.
What do you think about the running game overall?
No, I think we ran the ball, solid today. I think, there's some things we can work on, but I think it's a good start.
Jump over a man. It's like you were ready to go.
Definitely ready to go.
What can you say about Mike's ability to get you guys ready for this?
Yeah, I mean, just when you look at the schedule he has for us and how well he takes care of our body, just the diligence and situational football. Coach McCarthy, man, he's a great coach. You see by today, just us being ready in this week 1 opener, and just excited to build on that. I feel like I always feel good. Not always, but I mean, it's week 1. It's week 1. So I mean, definitely fresh, but just gotta continue to build on that and take care of my body, and we want to be feeling good in December and January. Oh, it definitely felt great, scoring that touchdown. Had a bunch of emotions, kind of had to lay there and soak it all in, but, just glad to be back.
How did you feel the guys in front of you did? Just Myles Garrett, Smith, like those talents in front, how did you feel like everybody managed?
Very talented front, and for us to have 2 rookies starting today, I think those guys, played their tail off. They competed. I think we had a great plan, and we went out and executed it.
When you were sitting on the bench in between plays, what did you think about Mike Zimmer's defense and the way that they put on that dominating?
Oh, wow. I mean, I think it was late in the second quarter, and I think they had like 30 yards passing, 30 yards rushing. I'm like, man, these boys are out there playing. But, I mean, went against that defense all off-season. Know how difficult it is to play them, how to prepare for them. But, they stepped up and answered the call.
It was certainly good seeing Ezekiel Elliott back in the fold whenever it came to the running back position. There were a couple times things that aren't going to show up on the box score showed up for Ezekiel Elliott. The pass blocking, the short yardage game. Isaiah, I mean, that's what you brought him back to do, and he did his job today.
Yeah, he protected his brother's blind side, and that's ultimately what they have him in for. I mean, obviously he can still tote the rock. He can do his things in terms of crossing the line of scrimmage and getting positive yardage, making sure he falls forward, make sure he always understands the pass protection. But ultimately, what he did best today was simply not turn the ball over and then protect Dak Prescott. Whenever they try to, Jim Schwartz try to bring pressure on the blind side of Dak, it was always Johnny on the spot. He sat up there, he blocked his man. It didn't matter if it was a safety, a linebacker, defensive back. It didn't matter. He ensured that Dak Prescott's back stayed clean, and he always took care of his business there.
And he chipped on both sides.
Yes,
he chipped
he did.
with Steele. He chipped with Tyler Guyton. He did his job. This guy, man, with only 10 carries, 10 carries, 40 yards, 4.0. 1 TD, and like you say, Isaiah, he falls forward. He's a guy that we need. He shows mental toughness and physical toughness.
Well, I think whenever you look at the rushing net, 102 yards on the ground, that's not going to blow anybody away, but you outrushed Cleveland, which is a win for a team that, of course, Cleveland has been the identity of running the football over the last few years, but they did better today. What did you think about the running game in general?
I thought overall it was by committee. I mean, I think everybody had the expectation that it was going to be that. It wasn't anything flashy. They averaged 4 yards on the ground, which is solid. This passing game never really got going for Dallas. And ultimately, it was really a defensive game. So, I mean, Dallas's offense, all they had to do was be productive, move the ball down the field methodically, and just not turn the ball over. And then, obviously, Brandon Aubrey did what he did, and they were able to walk away with the dub. And obviously, I'm sure the offense will go back and watch the film, see exactly where they can improve at. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb had a good day. He had his legs back underneath him. No soft tissue injuries, apparently, for him. Brandon Cooks was able to come back in the game after he had to step out for a second. So it seems as if most of your offense is coming back. We need to find out what happened to Jake Ferguson.
No overly big plays today, no more than what we had on special teams. Just guys just dinking and dunking, staying safe, making sure, like you said, don't turn the ball over. They just took care of business. This was a business trip. Yep. They handled their business against a team that before this game started, we all had Cleveland a little bit ahead, but it seemed like the Cowboys were physical enough and good enough to win this game.
That was the big thing, too. You wanted to see the physicality. You wanted to see the improvement up front, just like you said. You alluded to Jake Ferguson. Patrick Nosey Walker on Twitter said Jake Ferguson just walked out of the locker room toward the buses with his teammates. There was no brace on his knee, no crutches or anything like that on the knee. So he did have an ice pack. He had a little bit of gauze on there, but that was it for Jake Ferguson. Hopefully good news coming there. I'm sure that will come a little bit later on. But let's talk about one of the other pass catchers that had a big day. Speaking of a return, CeeDee Lamb. It may have not been a return from one team to the other, but from a camp holdout into the regular season, finally seeing 88 back on the field. Here's what he had to say.
Can you speak to what McCarthy did to get you guys ready for the game?
Can I speak? Yeah. He does a great job week in and week out as far as preparation and taking care of us. Understanding who we're going against. Obviously, we had a tough opponent in the Browns. They're very good defensively. Offensively, we did a great job of, keeping them low on the numbers and scoring touchdowns. So,
what are you meaning for Dak to get his payday?
Everything, man. That's my dog. Shout out him for that. Congrats to him for that. I told him that before the game, but we got a lot. We got a lot together. We got a lot to accomplish.
What kind of energy did that bring in the locker room before the game?
I mean, as far as for us, we knew he was going to be with us. It was all on a matter of time that it get announced. Very outstanding, man. He's a great leader. He's a great player. He's a great coach. He's a great teammate, brother, friend, if you will. And yeah, he checks off all the boxes, man. He does. The offense goes through that. So. Yeah, absolutely. So we can stop with this narrative about how much money we gonna make or whatever. So get us back to playing football, doing what we love again, being as passionate as we are. We'll let the rest take care of itself. Yeah, absolutely. Dak is probably one of the most mentally tough people that I've ever met, and he has a great job of hiding his feelings. You know what I'm saying? So it's never really looking like it's affecting him, but I know obviously we are human. At times it'll be tough, but yeah, he does a great job of leading us in the right direction and not really showing, his personal.
How did you feel? I know we said you're going to be good, but was there any rust at all?
A little bit. Obviously that was my first time competing against another defense at full speed, but yeah, man, there's a lot more to come. It's going to get better throughout the season, and it's a great start.
Did you guys ever ask Jerry, why did you drag this thing out?
Nah, that ain't. We all got that question, but we know not to we know not to pop it. It's all God's work, man.
But you wanted to.
Sure.
CeeDee, how much do you enjoy taking those handoffs from the backfield and adding that element?
Just having the ball in my hands is probably where I'm most happy. So however that is, as easy it is for the team, and just getting it started, whatever there may be, and like I said, man, it's gonna get better throughout the season. So get ready.
Can you speak to what Turpin did with that touchdown?
I didn't hear you.
Can you speak to what Turpin did returning the punt? He's been close so many times.
Yeah. It was about time, man. He was due for one. I think it was about 3 years in now. This is his third year, so yeah, he was gonna get here earful if he didn't get in the end zone. But shout out him. That was the first one of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out Turp. Shout out Turp, man.
You were gone for a month and a half almost. How much fun did you have today? Just because this is what you like to do.
Man, I love this. It's not even a like anymore. This is what I feel like I was born to do, and I'm happy to be back out there with my guys. Just getting it started, popping off the offense, and getting us going. I mean, that's what it's about. And as you go out throughout this journey, I know that throughout the season I get better. Personally, I feel like this is my training camp.
CeeDee Lamb making his return to the Cowboys offense, and of course we talked about a ramp-up period, right? It kind of looked like he was ramping up in the first half, and he just got better and better. He did have that 34-yard bomb. That took the majority of his production today. He finished up with 61 yards receiving. He had 5 catches on 10 targets. Nate, when you look at CeeDee Lamb's season debut, what would you grade it?
I'm going to give him an A+ because for a guy to just come off the streets and have only 6 days of practice or 6 practices and then come out and do what he did, and he took some shots, Isaiah. So I was excited for him, and I'm glad he got through this injury-free.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an A as well. I just think that what he was able to provide, especially having just shown back up, obviously with the new deal, being injury-free, being able to catch the rock, really not having any drops, accounting for a third of the pass attempts. He's still the heartbeat of this offense, regardless if he just showed back up or not.
And he looked like that, right? I mean, it wasn't the stat line we've become accustomed to with CD, where it jumps off the page and he's got all of these receiving yards and touchdowns and whatever it may be, but he was the leading receiver for both teams in a game that really didn't see the passing game shine at all. It was mostly about the defenses and a little bit of the run game every now and again. He did what he needed to do. How does he take a step forward next week?
I mean, they'll just continue to progress, right? They'll get more reps. They'll be on the field together more. This offense will be able to expand more because they'll be able to install with him being present in the building. Jim Schwartz's defense, we talked about it in the pregame show, is tough. These guys are tough. I mean, Dak Prescott they held Dak under 60% completion rate. He only had 170 yards in the air. It was tough on this offense today in terms of Dallas Cowboys. So they're not going to face that style of defense every single week. Obviously, the Saints have a good defense as well, but it's not nearly as complex as what they face today.
What did you think about CD and how he can take it up?
Oh, man, I have to agree with Isaiah, man. When I look at CD, I'm always been in awe of him. I've always been, on his side and pumping him up. So whatever my man Zale said, that's what I'm going to ride with.
I like it. That's just a good teammate right there. That's why he won 3 Super Bowls and it was a 6-time Pro Bowler. So there you go. By the way, we are going to say goodbye to Isaiah. He's got to catch a flight. He'll be on Good Morning Football out on the West Coast tomorrow morning. Be sure to catch him on the NFL Network. We will have Barry Church rejoin momentarily when we come back. We're going to hear from head coach Mike McCarthy. It's a little bit rare to see a game where offensively the Cowboys end up with under 300 yards of total offense. They finished with 265. They were 4 of 14 on third down, yet you still score 33 points. That means your defense was really good, your special teams worked out, and you probably have a non-offensive touchdown, which the Cowboys indeed had. So let's hear from the offensive play caller, Mike McCarthy, who's definitely happy with the team, but maybe has some words and some opportunity to grow on the offensive side.
Excellent win, especially going on the road, coming up here with a great football environment. You felt good about your prep coming into it. I thought we started the first half. thought we played well. Did little things. Second half was sloppy. So good win. Anytime you win by 3 scores, and you have a lot to correct. So that's where we're at. But we talked about being a better road team, and we got off to a good start.
Clarence Hill, 4-star Telegram. Okay. Clarence Hill.
Oh, wow. Did you get that?
He did it. Clarence Hill, All City Dallas. Before the game, you had some news, and just talk about how that was a distraction, not a distraction, how Dak just handled that, and then to go into the game and get that kind of news, and what that means for that to get done with that.
Yeah, definitely. Just so happy, so proud, of Dak for, getting that contract done. Obviously, very exciting for us as an organization. I mean, that's a big move when you can, lock up your quarterback, your future for that many years. So, but the timing was different, and I think he handled it just like you think he would. We meet 15 minutes after he arrives at the stadium, so we had a normal meeting, spent probably 3 to 4 minutes, congratulating him on the contract, because that's something that you make sure that you celebrate for the individual. And then I thought he was locked in today. I thought he was normal in his approach and so forth. So, which that's what he does with everything.
Talk really ramped up the last couple of weeks.
Say it again.
Talk really ramped up on the contract the last couple of weeks, and certainly stuff in the media. Did you worry about the team being distracted by that going to the season because the opener was so important?
Well, we have a little bit of experience with distractions, so we're working through those and building off our history. No, I think it's just like anything. We all understand there's a personal side to this, but professionally, I thought the team as a whole did a really good job coming into this. But it looked like September football out there. So, and that's where, as a coach, the sloppiness and some of the things that happened in the second half, we got to be better than that. But yes, I thought the team really practiced this week very well. I mean, if you just go by the mathematics, the things that we use for comparables, and they really had an excellent week compared to prior years in week 1. So, hey, we'll just stay true to our process, stay after it. We have a lot to clean up tomorrow, but just very happy for the guys. They put the work in the preparation and came up here to get this win.
I had a feeling Mike McCarthy would say it was September football, right? I mean, it's the first week. There's a lot that can go right. There's a lot that can go wrong. We've already seen that on our show here in Postgame too. But Barry Church, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. When it comes to what McCarthy saw today, it was a complete team win because you had the offense do what they needed to do. You had the defense play lights out for the most part.
Yes,
and then the special teams unit was fantastic. Offensively, what do you want to see more from them?
Well, what I want to see more from this team offensively is I wanted them to go out there and continue to have kind of this balanced approach. I mean, I know they did an outstanding job today in having that balanced approach. I think they passed the ball 32 times. They had 25 rushes. So they kept the defense on their toes. It wasn't just one-dimensional. I had a fear going into this game with this running back by committee room that they would go out there and rely too much on Dak Prescott's shoulders, throwing the ball 40 to 45 times a game. And I don't think that's a recipe for success. But when you have a balanced attack, I think that's when you see the best of this offense. And they went out there today in Cleveland against a vaunted defense at that, and they gave them that balanced attack. And Dak Prescott was pinpoint with his passing out there. Didn't see the big-time numbers. Passing was only about 179 yards total, but they did what they had to do to get the victory. The defense and special teams, like you said, played outstanding.
I just want them to continue to run that ball 25 or more times a game. Last year, that was Cleveland's success, that they could always depend on that. This week here, it was our success that we continue to dabble in that running game. We had a 4.1 average on 102 yards with 25 carries. If we could just geek that up another 5 carries and take that up like to 4.3 or 4.4 and just continue to do it, that'll keep us well balanced. And now we don't have to depend on Dak to throw that thing all over the field as CeeDee Lamb get better and better every week.
That'll certainly help along the way. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, of course, highest paid receiver. Now you've got Dak Prescott making some money as well. Mike McCarthy just talked about it a bit. We'll hear from the newest highest paid player in the NFL when we come back with Cowboys OT. Today in week 1, Dak Prescott finished with 19 completions for 179 yards. But those aren't the only numbers that matter for Dak today. How about 4 years, $240 million? Let's hear from the highest paid quarterback and player in the NFL.
Just talk about the significance of today for you individually and for the team to you get the contract and then the team plays this way, and just what that means for you and this team.
Yeah, I mean, great team win, great team effort. We can be better on offense. Defense did a hell of a job. Exciting start, though, super exciting start on the road, a place that we weren't very good in last year against a team that was great at home last year. Last year, but to turn the page and to start this year the way we did was huge. And for me personally, good just to honestly to finish these questions, and I hope after the day we're done talking about it in my pockets, I guess you can say, and can just move forward and focus on this team and the success that we plan to have and what we're working toward.
Did you have a pretty good idea before you left for here, and was it finalized today, or just kind of how you balanced where you were on that with getting ready for the game in these last 24?
Yeah, I mean, when I told you guys Thursday that I was focused on this game, that was the truth. I mean, I had one other conversation with my agent after meeting with you guys Thursday, and it was essentially that, yeah, they're working hard. Can't say that I'd say that they were close at the time, the last time that I talked to them. But obviously, as I've said and alluded to since back in training camp of the spring, my confidence in both sides of this, that something would get done, understanding that they were hammering at it, that I had confidence in it, but it really wasn't in my mind. For me, it was just about getting ready for the Browns. Whether it got done today or not wasn't going to change the way, it wasn't going to affect me, honestly. I've told you guys before, I don't play for the money. I think when you focus and you control what you can control, things like that just happen. So, yeah, I found out probably an hour honestly, probably 20 minutes before it was, publicized to everybody else.
Clarence Hill, All-City, Dallas. So you and Jerry wasn't playing us last week with all that tough talk?
No, I'm not trying to play anybody. No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, there was any negotiations. I mean, one side wants something, other side wants this, and then obviously you got to get it and you meet in the middle, and that's what we did. Something that works for everybody. I'm just proud, just happy. It's done. I'm proud of my agent. Todd did a great job. Steven and them did a great job. It works for everyone. When you look into the details, it works for everyone, and understanding where this cap is going. I'm just excited, as I said, it's behind us, and we can focus on winning games.
Can you go back to
And the Cowboys are pretty good at that. They're 1-0 since the contract and the deal was done, right? I mean, we're heading the right direction. We're going all the way, right? Yeah. No, there's a lot of expectation with the contract.
Yes.
And that's the next step for Dak. Is not only is the deal done, okay, check that box, it's done, but is the deal worth it? And the only thing that's going to make it worth it, Barry, is winning and getting where they believe that Dak Prescott can get them. Do you believe he's the right guy for that?
I do. I do believe he is the right guy for that, because when you look at Dak Prescott in the regular season, I believe he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League, and the numbers back that as well. He's always going to give his team an opportunity to make it to that Super Bowl, get to the playoffs, and you always want a quarterback like that. That's why I think this was a very smart move by the organization to get your quarterback in here long term, to make sure that none of that contract talk or negotiations are weighing over their head during the season. But we all understand, as a Cowboy, when you wear that star on your helmet, it doesn't really matter what you do in the regular season. It's what happens in the postseason, and that's the answer that Dak Prescott's going to have to solve this season for the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're primed and ready to do so.
I think just by going out, getting Mike Zimmer and solidifying that defense is going to give him that chance in the postseason. But what Dak does is he's the face of this franchise. They trust Dak. They won't wake up and see something off the field. They know that he's going to come to work every day and lead his troops. He's a stabilizing force. I think this was a good move, and I think the Cowboys are on the right way. In that way, Mike McCarthy can be around, too.
Yeah, there you go.
He's the next, huh?
It's one of those things for Dak, too. It couldn't have happened to a better person.
Yes.
And I think everybody kind of feels that way. He's a leader in that locker room, and he's somebody you can rely on, as Nate alluded to there, to get the job done and do all of the elements that you need. What did you think about him today, Barry?
I thought today, numbers-wise, it was very pedestrian. I mean, 179 yards, I believe, out there, 1 touchdown, and that got the job done. I mean, would you love to see more explosive numbers from this explosive offense? Of course. But the one thing I loved about this, he did not turn the football over. All right, that's the key. If you can win the turnover battle, my old coach Jason Garrett used to tell you 90% chance you're going to win the game. So if Dak Prescott can keep the ball out of harm's way while continually to be cool, calm, and collected throughout this season, the Cowboys have a real chance, especially, like you just said, Nate, with that Mike Zimmer defense and being able to take the football away and getting it back to your offense. If they're able to take control of it, the sky's the limit for this team.
Well, let's talk about one of the guys who can help with that turnover battle and the takeaways. Micah Parsons was a one-man wrecking crew. Stop me if you've heard that before. We hear from Micah when we come back with more Cowboys OT.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Well, CD's contract's done, Dak's contract's done, and the next one up is Micah Parsons. And he played today like a guy who wants to get paid next offseason. He had a sack and a couple of big-time pressures, including one that was a tip pass that ended up in the hands of Eric Kendricks for an interception. Let's hear from Micah after the win.
Oh, I agree 100%. We didn't even open up the full bag. For a lot of us, that was our first game since the playoff loss. So, we just getting back into it, tackling people again, getting to that full contact gameplay. So I just think the sky's the limit, and this is just the beginning.
They only had 1 first down in the entire first half. Did you feel like Zim was in their heads at any point early in that game?
Man, Zim live in everybody's head, bro. Yeah, I think he has that type of fear factor, that type of respect. You want to play for that guy, man. He's just such a good dude, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Micah, you guys have a lot of players to make plays on the defensive side. Just wanted to say about the depth that you guys have.
That just goes out to the people higher up, Will McClay and, the coaching staff for bringing these guys in and making these attributes, late towards the end of that camp and bringing these guys so we have those rotational pieces. And obviously we drafted pretty well, so it looks good. And it helps when we can rotate when you're tired and things like that. Said, God damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, God damn. Dak owed me a little bit of money, so I was like, I went up to him right before we came here. I was like, I'll never be broke. I know that for sure. I'll never be broke. And, he just laughed. But, nah, man, Dak, like I told people, man, he didn't cheat the game. He earned everything he got. So That just goes to his work, his dedication, his craft, everything he put into it. Good things happen when you don't cheat the game. And I can say he's been 100% bought in since he's been here. So when it comes to a guy getting his money, I mean, there's not a guy that doesn't deserve it.
That was my reaction, too, whenever I saw the contract number 2. So who knows? Yeah, I mean,
I was right there with you.
Part of it. What did you see from Micah defensively today? I mean, he was all over the place.
Oh, he was all over the place. I loved every bit of what I saw from Micah Parsons out there defensively. You name it. Countless pressures on the quarterback. Deshaun Watson was running for his life pretty much the entire game out there. He had the sack, 5 quarterback hits out there. But I loved what I seen the most from him was when he batted that pass down. Because we all understand he can get after the quarterback. He can stop the run. But it's what can you do more for this defense? He went out there, batted a pass, and ended up leading into an interception. I love what I saw from Parsons today.
It's just a small thing, like you say, batting the ball down, and man, maybe more. He gets some false fumbles as the season go on, gets some fumble recoveries. That is what takes you over the top. Everybody gets sacks, but when you can just do a little bit more, a little bit extra to help your team win, that is what gets you that MVP.
MVP. He's got an early candidacy for Defensive Player of the Year, and he looked really good in the first try at it, his first audition for the Defensive Player of the Year. When we come back, we're going to tie a bow on this one. 33-17, the Cowboys beat the Browns. Can they keep it going into Week 2?
The Cowboys OT was brought to you by Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today.
33-17, the final score here from Week 1 of the NFL season as we welcome you back to Cowboys OT. We've got Barry Church and Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. Now, there's plenty to talk about because the whole season is in front for the Cowboys. There are 17 other weeks left. There will be some ups. There will be some downs. How do they keep the momentum from today's win going against New Orleans next week?
You just got to keep building on it. I mean, you look at it offensively, it started out a little bit slow, and it might not have been as explosive as what we all thought might have happened there, but they got the job done. The rushing attack was running back by committee like we all thought. They were able to get over 100 yards there and get that balanced attack and keep this defense for Cleveland kind of off their heels a little bit. And then you go to the defensive side of the football. I mean, if you can get performances like that week in and week out, I mean, you're going to stand a chance to win a lot of games in this football league. I mean, mean, when you look at it, keeping the team, 2 of 14 or 2 of 15 on third down, you got a great chance to win those ball games. And then you look at special teams-wise, what Fossils was able to do with those group of guys. Punt team, all of that. They all worked together. They were able to get great field position for the offense. And then we all understand, once you cross that 50-yard line, that's an automatic 3 points. I mean, my guy was automatic out there kicking field goals. So hats goes off. It was a great team victory, and hopefully they'll be able to build upon this.
60 plays. That's what our offense ran. We normally run anywhere from 72 to 76 plays. So we were about 17 plays down. 5 more running plays, 10 more plays to CD targeted, and you'll have this thing going. All we got to do is stay efficient, don't turn the ball over, and everything will be okay. Going forward, that's all we need to do.
That is all you need to do. Just take it easy. Just find a way. Keep it simple. I mean, Abramatic has been fantastic, right?
I like that.
Abramatic. Brandon Abramatic. He's just been a complete weapon. Kavontae Turpin did what he did. Your offense really didn't have to do a whole lot today, and that's the recipe for success. You can maybe keep that going next week because you're right back at home. AT&T Stadium, the home opener. The doors open, of course, for AT&T Stadium. We'll have our pregame live coverage starting at 11 o'clock, kickoff at noon Central Time. For Barry Church, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We'll see you next week.